I've preheated my pans. We'll see how hot they are. I'm going to start that's pretty darn hot. I'm going to move this off the fire then. I like a combination of oil and butter. The oil is going to raise the smoke point of the butter a little bit. I'm going to cool that off a little bit. Any type mushroom you like would be good in here too. It doesn't really have to be shiitakes. Mushrooms don't have to cook that long. Oysters really don't have to cook that long either. What I'm going to do is kind of demonstrate what I always tell people to do. Is before your fish goes in the pan, have the rest of your garnish already ready, because overcooking of the fish is the worst thing you can do. So the carryover heat of that cast iron pan is going to pretty much cook those oysters. And I'm even going to put the spinach in there and let it start cooking down a little bit. And that's all before I even put the fish in the pan, because I want to be able to plate this just as soon as it's done. I got a trick pan there. And the combination of butter and oil, I can also kind of tell how hot the skillet is too, so that's helpful. So I've floured the fish. I'm going to go ahead and I'm just kind of letting the spinach melt down into that. I'm going to make a quick little butter sauce here. And if you remember, nothing of this demo at all as far as a technique goes. This is kind of a good one to remember. I've got 1 stick of butter right here, which is a 1/4 pound of butter. And then the ratio I'm going to use to make the sauce is 2 ounces of liquid to 1 stick of butter. And in this case, the liquid is going to be oysters, because they're about 95% liquid anyway. I'm going to heat up. I'm going to heat up about 2 ounces of oysters here. And when the edges start to curl, I'm going to add my cold cut up butter to that, and then I'm going to blend it with my little mixing wand here. I've got one at work that's about the size of an outboard motor, but if you don't have one of these at home, a regular stand blender works well. Just remember that never close the top of the blender up when you're blending a hot liquid, or it will go amazingly high. It will go all over your kitchen. Okay, so you see my garnish, it's just about done there. A little bit of salt before I even turn my fish. So I can take that off the fire. I don't know if you can see in that little pot or not. Once I get a color on one side of this, and it's a little bit like a pancake. The first side of a pancake always takes longer than the second side. So once you get the color on one side, you're about 2 minutes out. Okay, now my oysters are curling there, so I'm gonna put my stick of butter in. Leave it on the heat for just a minute, and then I'm just going to start blending it. And this process emulsifies the butter. And chemically what you're doing is sort of turning butter back into cream. But it makes a nice creamy sauce, and you can imagine that it tastes pretty good since it's nothing but butter and oysters. This is a stable sauce as long as you keep it warm. So if I was making this a little bit ahead of time, I would put it in a little bit of a water bath. This is something like we serve the dish in the restaurant. We got all the components: the spinach, shiitakes, oysters, tasso, oyster butter, and we just put the right tool for the job here, and put a piece of fish right on top.